Hello and welcome. Today I'll be starting an Mbed OS series. If you haven't heard of Mbed, it's just used for programming microcontrollers. I'll leave a link in the description to a few that I suggest you buy. I wouldn't get this one, it's quite an expensive one, and it's just one I'm using for another project at the minute. It has LoRa, which is why you have an RF antenna. Anyway, I am buying a cheaper version, which is only about £10, I think. So anyone who's not used Mbed OS before, you need to sign up. It's really quick though, it's literally just email and password. It's no big deal. They won't spam you with email if you don't want to. So once you've signed up, which should only take a minute, you want to come to Mbed OS like I have here. Then all these options will come. You want to go to your compiler. So this is where we can start actually programming our device. Once you've done this screen will come up. You can see right now we've got no programs and we've got nothing in our workspace whatsoever. Here I've actually already got a board because I did a quick run through on this. But usually there wouldn't be a board here. Okay, so all you would have to do then is you'd come to this board, then you'd click here, add board, and then whichever board it is that you're using, you add that to the space. So in my example, or in my case, I am using an STM board, if I can find that quickly, up here. So STM board, or ST board. And you have all these different options. These are all good boards, depending on what you want to do. I have this board, which you don't need, it's really expensive, it's about £50, but it has LoRa. If you haven't heard of that, don't worry about that, it's irrelevant right now. But yeah, then what you would do is you'd literally click on that board, and then you would, so here where I can say remove from compiler, so I can remove it from my compiler, and now I can add that to your Mbed compiler, like so. So that board's now been added. We can clear this workstation now. Now if we go to our compiler from here, then we will see that you should have your board ready to go. And then what we can do is we can click new, and we create a new file. And for whichever board it is you have selected, there will probably be some templates. So you want to click on one. Basic example to show how LEDs work. I'll click on this one. So if I click OK, that will now open up that program, and we've got Mbed already here, which you need. And then you've got your main.cpp file, which includes mbed.h, your header file. And then there you go, your board is now pretty much ready to code. There's a couple of other things I wanted to go through. So I will run this in a minute. This is simply going to be turning on the onboard LEDs. LED 1, LED 2, LED 2, LED 3, LED 4. Another thing we can do, which you may have seen a moment ago, is if we click on our board here, we can go to more info, and then we can actually get an overview of whichever board it is we're using. So it will have all your features for the board, more, and then it'll have the board pinout, which is really useful. Obviously you need to know that. Here's a little legend that can tell you, well, tell you which pins you can use, and then you can start, looking at the pins. Make sure you're choosing the correct pins. This obviously is the left side of the board, and then that's the right side of the board. Well, vice versa actually. So yeah, I've got that wrong already. So this side of the board here corresponds to this. This side of the board here corresponds to that. Just make sure your board is facing the correct way. That's it really. And here you can find out the onboard LEDs. So you've got LED 2, LED 1, LED 3, LED 4, which is PB5, PB6, PB7. If we go to our compiler, yeah, you have them defined as, oh yeah, LED 1, LED 3, LED 4. Just like here, and LED 2 as well, as we saw up here. So we know those are the onboard LEDs. You can also name them as this. You could have used PB7, PB6, PB5, and PA5. That would have worked just fine. So now what we want to do is we want to click compile. Once we've compiled that, we'll get a little program which has been downloaded. Then you want to come to your files where you've plugged your device in, and you want to come to your, this is the device where it's called the STM board, and this will come up. Then you simply want to drag this file and you want to load that onto here, and that will download it onto your board. You can see it's flashing here, which means it's loading, and now we can see that the LED is flashing in the pattern that it's been written in, LED 1, well, LED 2, etc. And we can also see it responds to a button, which I think is the blue button. So, and that's on an interrupt. We'll talk about that at a later stage. But essentially what an interrupt does, it's a hardware interrupt in this case, and it will come and interrupt the program and change the LED, the tempo, to 0.1 or 0.3. So either speed it up if it's going slow, or slow it down if it's going fast. So I'll show you that. So there we can see it's sped up. If we click it again, it slows down again. If we click it again, it speeds up. If we click it again, it slows down. So that's really it for starting on Mbed OS. Again, you'd probably be using a different board, and that's about it. So there's all these different board options you have. I recommend getting an STM board, to be honest, but you don't have to. I'd get one of the nucleo boards, just get whichever one's cheapest really. Maybe that's a good one. Doesn't make too much difference. But yes, that's it. Thank you for watching, and yeah, hopefully come back for another video. Thank you.